Welcome back to another crazy episode of Vegas Views. Dawn Sullivan, Danny Miner. We have a guest today. Her name is Grace. Grace, please tell our audience your first and last name.
Grace Tabron.
Grace Tabron. Grace is actually one of my talent. Grace is a minor, so she is accompanied by her father. So thank you so much to her dad, Fred, for bringing her in today.
And have to listen to our crazy show.
Oh, he listened to everything.
He likes it.
Yeah,
I thought they were going to leave. I love that. Did they leave?
Yeah, imagine Dad was like, no, Grace, Dawn's cool and everything, but that Danny guy, he's a little bit off for us.
Could you imagine getting interviewed by us? That gotta be the scariest thing, especially me. I'm
Seriously.
crazy. You don't know what I'm going to say.
Right. No, if I didn't know you, I would be like, oh, hell no, you don't know what's going to pop out of that guy's mouth. Anyway, okay, guys, so any of you guys that follow me on Instagram, TikTok, and all that stuff, that my career full-time, I'm a talent agent. I also do work in crime and psychology and all that kind of stuff, and how Danny and I originally got together was through crime, and it kind of just meshed. So we do a little bit of everything. So my full-time is with my kids. When you guys always hear me say kids, everyone probably thinks I have a slew of children. I have no biological children, just so you know, but I have a lot of kids that I work with, which are teens into their early 20s and some older as well. So I brought my whole crew to Los Angeles. Remember how I did IMTA New York City? Well, we just came back from LA and we got an awesome result. Grace has a story to tell, and she is actually one of my kids who did an exceptionally well job, and an extraordinary story to go along with it. So I kind of want to use this platform really quick to give Grace a minute to tell her story. One, to give her that and give her some exposure, and two, to give other young people that might want to act or model or get into a business to show you that if nothing is impossible. It is hard sometimes to get into the industry that you want to be in, but sometimes things just align and happen the way they're supposed to happen. So I guess the biggest takeaway from this, from me to you, would be when opportunity knocks, go. Be a part of it. See what things are about. Something's knocking on your door, go for it. Okay, so Grace, welcome to the show.
Hello.
How are you? So thus far, what do you think of Danny?
I like him. I like him. I like people who are like a little like overzealous.
He's overzealous. A little crazy, right?
Yeah, a little crazy.
Grace and I know each other very well. We just spent the last week with each other. When I tell you almost 24/7, it was like breakfast, dinner together, everything we did together. It was a lot of running around and crazy. We spent a lot of time together and got to know each other even better than we knew each other prior. And she's got a little Danny in her too. She's a little bit like, what did I say? A little kooky, whatever it is.
Yeah,
but
a little Lulu.
A little Lulu in a good way. I'm a little Lulu, but she's a little bit more Lulu like Danny in that kind of way. So I think they'll get along just great. So Grace, let's start here. Let me ask you, how long have you wanted to be a model?
Honestly, it's been like a far off dream kind of my whole life.
Okay.
But I never really knew if it was possible fully.
Okay.
I
So you
guess.
had some doubts if it's something that you could accomplish, or it was something that's obtainable for your life, or what was your biggest, like, I don't know if I can see myself as a professional model. What would be the one thing you thought may have held you back?
It just seemed so far off, like unachievable, untouchable.
Okay.
Like, it just felt like, especially growing up, like there was a disconnect between famous people and regular people.
Okay. So you in your head you were a regular person. Okay.
Yeah.
Are you a regular person today?
I don't think so.
That's
good.
I'd love to hear that.
Yeah, that's
So, starting with the story, let's start from the beginning. So, I'm going to say my side, and then you say your side, because I think we have an epic story together, myself and Grace. Okay. So, I'm in Target one night. Yes, Target. And I'm walking. I think I picked up my prescriptions in the CVS, and I'm walking around, and I think it was almost like in the decor aisle, because I was probably looking at pillows, because I always do that. You think you're weird. I got issues, right? Because I'm about pillows. And I'm not kidding. I see a girl, and she's walking with a book on her head with a boy behind her. And she's tall, and she's beautiful. And I look, and I said, oh, are you tripping? Because, like, you just a girl with a book on her head. And I looked again, and I went into my bag, and I'm like, oh, my God. I'm like, are you a model? And she's like, no, but I want to be her. I forgot her exact response. And then her boyfriend just seemed so sweet. And I said, I don't mean to come off like cuckoo or crazy, but let me give you my card. I'm a talent agent. I do a class Friday nights, and we walk with books on our head. So it's weird that I'm just seeing you with a book on her head. And she was just so sweet and polite. And then I gave her my card. Let's tell them your end of the story.
So it was a long day. I was not having a perfect day. I was kind of tired and drained. And my boyfriend was like, let's get out of the house. Let's just go do something. So we go to Target, and I'm just goofing around, acting silly. We were looking at all the toys and being like, oh, should we get this? Should we get that? And then somehow it happened where he dared me to walk the aisle with a book on my head. And if I could do it, he would get me whatever makeup or beauty item I wanted. And I heard that makeup. I was like, okay, I can do this. I was a dancer growing up. I got this. So I did it. And then I see Dawn walking along the aisle, and she kind of stops and looks at me. For a second, I was going to get shy and be like, oh, sorry. But then I heard a voice in the back of my head say, tighten your core, don't stop. So I just finished the aisle, and then she's like, are you a model? And I'm like, oh, I want to be whatever. And then she gave me her card, and a couple aisles before that, I was like, I put it out there. I was like, God, you're just going to drop something into my lap. It's going to change my life. It's going to move me out. Any problem that I have, it's going to solve it. And that's happening.
Okay. So that's what happens. A couple of days later, Grace gives me a call. Actually, she was very quick to respond. Gives me a call. Her and her dad come in. That's Fred. He is amazing and awesome. Great dad. Most supportive dad I've ever worked with, I think. And native New Yorker from Buffalo. So we had like that in common, East Coast mentality, very, very cool guy. And we all just got along really well. We did a test shoot on her. We did a nice photo shoot. Her pictures came out beautiful. And I was ramping up to do this trip to LA. And secretly in my head, I'm like, oh God, I want Grace in LA with me. But she was a brand new model. I mean, I think she had come to 2 classes when I started to think, can I take her with me? I don't know. And then there was finances, and there was so much. There was a lot to just call this kid and say, hey, you're a minor child. Can you come to LA with me? Like, we had just met. But she was taking my classes on Friday evenings, and she was walking. And she was getting better every week. And in between that whole long story, so the night before the event, we had made it work, from her dad to myself and her mom. And we said, Grace, you're going to go to LA with us. And how scary for such a young girl, which, to be honest with you, funny part of the story is her dad texts me and says, is there any paperwork or anything? I said, oh, don't worry, I'll have Grace sign it. In my head, she's not a kid. She's 18. And this dad even trusted me enough. He was still like, all right, well, like she's a child. And in my head, because she looks so much older, you wouldn't think. And I'm like, oh, she could sign her own paperwork. This kid couldn't even, can you get a license? Are you old enough for a driver's? Oh, you're old enough for a driver's license, but not even old enough to sign paperwork. I'm like, oh my God. Anyway, so we go, and we had a really, really good time the very first day there. There was a small casting going on that turned into a very big casting, and Grace ended up getting a part in that runway show. So she had her very first runway show in Los Angeles. I did send Dad all the footage. The second it was going on, it was like, click, here's your baby's first runway show, which was really cool. And then in the process of going to the IMTA, it's all about showcasing yourself. So she had a bunch of different competitions to go to, and then we had callbacks, which she, out of my group, did amazing. One of the top 2 in my group. She was called up on the stage. What were you up for? All those awards? I don't know. You just kept winning
Runway,
shit. She just kept winning
print,
shit. So
jeans,
I don't. Yes, runway, fashion print,
TV beauty.
TV beauty. I mean, she was taking the competition. So in my heart, I was like, wow, this is crazy. This is just such a short, quick thing. I had people working at this for 6 months to a year that went with us, and they did well. Don't get me wrong. My whole team in their own way did well. But I guess the story here is that you never know. I find her in Target. We put her in action. And she just showed up. I mean, from that very first time you hit the runway, she has the biggest names in the business, which we are allowed to name. The biggest names in the business she's sought after right now. So when we ended up having our callbacks and I looked at Grace's sheet, I knew I had a success. I knew I had America's Next Top Model amongst me. I knew it. So it was an epic experience for me to watch. A lot of tears, I'm not going to lie, and I don't cry. And anyone I represent knows that I'm tough. I don't cry, but the kid had me crying. So tell them your end of it. What happened? To anyone looking to go, tell them what it was like for you. And tell them the truth. Some things were not so great, and it was scary.
It was the first night that we got there.
Oh,
I
yeah.
started to freak out a little bit, have some anxiety, things were getting in my head. I was having like almost a panic attack, and I called Dawn, and
2 o'clock in the morning.
Yeah, it's 2 in the morning, and I'm like, Dawn, I'm freaking out. I don't even know if I want to be here. I don't know. I want to go home. I feel
She was
scared.
this close to going home. Yeah.
And Dawn's like, try to get some sleep. wake up tomorrow, go to the practice, and then we'll gauge it off of that. I wake up and I end up feeling great. I do my yoga, take a shower, and I'm feeling fine. I go to the first practice, and immediately I'm calmed down because I see everybody else seems to be as nervous as I am. And then that was the first casting walk. And before I went on, said my prayers, release energy, tell myself I'm excited, not nervous. And then, I don't know, it was just easy after that.
Yeah.
Except TV Beauty, but I still got an award in that.
TV Beauty is a competition where new models have to read scripts. And it is a little bit difficult if you are a fashion model. She is a runway model. So being a runway model, she tries on clothing. She walks the runway. She's in different shows. So that was easy for her. But the television part was a little bit challenging, but you still did great.
Yeah, surprisingly.
You got an honorable mention for that one, right? Yeah. So she actually started winning stuff for the things she did better. And she was very much sought after in the whole competition. So I can't tell you how amazing you did. You were like, I couldn't believe it. Everybody was thinking like, Grace, this will be a good opportunity for her to see. This will be a good opportunity for her to kind of see what maybe the New York convention might be like. But no, she came there, she came to win, and she killed it. And we actually also in our group had Singer of the Year, Actress of the Year by another one of our girls who we will have here. But it was just an epic experience. I ended up getting sick toward the end, which you were so helpful to me when I got sick. And I realized how much I had to lean on some of these kids when I got sick. But it was an amazing experience to watch, and I couldn't be any more proud of you, and you did an amazing work. And everybody that you worked with through Dream Trucks has just epic things to say about you, how friendly you are, how kind you are. You did an amazing job.
Thank you.
Would you suggest it to somebody who's, quote unquote, unprepared? You weren't unprepared, but you didn't have as much time in as everybody else. You were kind of like, I found you, we took you, next thing you know, you wake up in LA in this big scary thing with big names around you. Would you suggest doing it like that to anybody else?
I would say just freeball it. Like, life is too short to not. That's what I was thinking. I was scared, but like, why not? And I was just telling myself, have fun, experience the experience, learn all that you can. And I feel like, why not? Like, why not? There's no reason not to.
It worked out for you. But can I tell you a couple of reasons, guys? Like, I gotta go back into my psychology for just a second, why it really did work out for Grace. The people she has on her team. She has an amazing boyfriend. Amazing. When I tell you, I met the kid in Target. And actually, it's one thing I do remember is she said to me real quick, because I think she was nervous to meet me the first day. She said, he said he'd buy me makeup if I walk with a book in my head. And I thought, oh, that's so cute. Like, he's playing with her, and that's cute. And her dad and her mom, like, she just has a team of people that were just like, go get it. And not everybody has that. So, if you are a parent at home and you have a child that could change their life in a career plan, sometimes it's okay to let them go. With the right people, of course, make sure you do your research and stuff. But the way her family did let her go and support her, especially her boyfriend, that had to be scary for him to, like, here's my girlfriend and she's just going to go away for a week and do all these crazy, like, that had to be a little bit, but he just supported her, FaceTimed her every single minute. It was amazing. Her dad was right there just supporting anything he can do in any way to help her. And so fast forward in her story, some of the names are going to probably lead her to really great places. So her success story has everything to do with where she came from. She came from a foundation of people, and every teen needs that, okay? So could I say that you had a higher up hand because of your height or weight or pretty? Yeah. But did it have everything to do with that emotional support that you had that kept pushing you, and the people that love you want you to succeed?
Yes.
Yeah.
But if you don't have that, don't let it stop you.
If you don't have that, don't let it stop you. Excellent point. Don't let it stop you. So there were some things that went on, and I want to talk real quick. Danny, tell me your insight on this. This is so off of your radar, but tell me your insight on this.
I think it's amazing. I think it was, I hate something spiritual to get used to mate.
Yeah.
100%. And when you said that you just happened to put this book on your, come on. There's no coincidences. There was a reason you met her.
Yeah.
And the same thing, me and you. I mean, we met in a weird way. They start doing the show. And I just think, I like the way you just went for it, because a lot of people will stop themselves because of fear. And fear stops so many careers. It really does. You can't, even though you're scared. Ask Dawn. I went she got me a gig to trial for an acting spot. And listen, I can't even, you give me one sentence, I can't memorize it. They gave me one sentence.
Too much up here.
I was so scared. I was like this. I was horrible. But I still did it. Even though I was scared, I did it. And a lot of people won't do that. And I saw that with you. You went even though you were scared. And fear stops people. So just you not being overcoming your fear, you're going to be a success.
And
just
I have to tell you, Danny, too. I have to tell you, I'm going to keep it real right now because on the show I only keep it real.
And I can tell the way she's sitting. Both of you are sitting nice, and I'm sitting like this. I can tell, you teach models and you're a model. I'm like this, and they're both sitting like really nice.
I'm not allowed to say this too loud, but she's a boss. She's a boss bitch.
Oh, okay.
I try to be.
But seriously, I keep it real on the show, and I'm going to be completely transparent here. She did not have it easy her very first day. There was a lot of cattiness. There's a lot when you're a teenager, especially, and you're a dad to a little girl. Well, not a little girl anymore. She's all grown up, but girl stuff that happens with girls, and it's difficult. And she just overcame emotional challenges and mental challenges. And I watched something
Spiritual challenges.
I watched something click in this kid, and she was pretty much like, I'm by myself here. I'm on my own. I have Dawn, but she's not my dad. And I got to do this. And I watched something click in her, and she took all the strength, and that came from a place. And I think it comes from a place, again, I'm going to say parenting and healing, and a place of like, there was someone safe in her life enough to know, like, someone told her, Grace, you can do this. Whatever, whether it's the boyfriend or dad or mom,
you too.
Somebody, and me. I wouldn't stop.
That phone call really saved everything.
Well, technically, I cursed you out after the phone call because I said no, I'm just kidding. What is, keep calling me at 2 a.m. It was actually my pleasure. I'm not kidding. I literally, in the next morning, I said, God, please. I knew for you that it was going to be good. I didn't think it was going to be this good, but I knew it was going to be good. And I said, please, God, let her stay. And she had a lot of challenges against her. People aren't so nice. There were, we had some kids there that weren't doing the right things. And like I always go back to, upbringing is everything. But you're such a great kid, and you do things in just such a gracious way. And I know you're in my life for a reason. I cannot wait for the future, and I cannot wait to see where this goes for you. Tell me the first thing that you're most excited about. If you look back on INTA now, what was your highlight moment? Because I know I have mine. What was yours?
Mine was probably the fashion show. Because I got to know a lot of the other girls, and like we've gotten to keep in touch. Like they're all over the country, and we're all like, can't wait to see you on Vogue. Like you're gonna be so big.
Now, did you work with Karen Lee on that show?
Yes.
Was that also?
That was a huge deal.
You guys probably don't know who Karen Lee is. She is huge in the industries for models. Once you're in with Karen Lee, it's like you made yourself a career, like Naomi Campbell, like for the old people that know who Kate Moss is, Cindy Crawford. You young people are like, isn't that so-and-so's mom? Yes. They all have daughters that are now trying to be models. But I don't mean that in a disrespectful way, but all the old school models, and this is back where, Karen Lee kind of did a lot in the industry, and she actually knows Grace by name. And when everyone was doing callbacks, there's hundreds of girls in the room, she's going like this to me and Grace. Oh, Grace. And I just knew right there. And I said, Karen Lee just said this to Grace, and there's a list, and she's checking her list, and let's see, who's going to be good for you, who's not. You have the pick of the litter at this point. Is there any agency yet that you're thinking of going with, or do you not know yet?
I don't know yet for sure.
Mm-hmm. Is there anyone that you like?
I like the people at NV Models a lot.
Okay.
I love Karen Lee.
Okay.
And I would hope to get Wilhelmina, but I didn't get a call back for them, but I still gave them my headshot.
Okay.
So.
You did slip the headshot in?
Yes.
Good.
Yes.
She hustles too. That's another thing. I was like, who cares if they call? Just give it to them. It's fine. They'll recognize you in the future. Guys, so we're going to take another quick commercial break, and when we come back, we have more to talk about after this message.